All right, everybody, thanks for joining us today for our FPC webinar on the Pro Property platform. We have some amazing experts on our leadership team, and your chair, Chandra Patterson, and Vice Chair Ennis Antoine of the FPC Advisory Committee. We are recording this webinar. If you all have questions, I would ask you to either put those in the chat or wait until the end. We are all joining in a format today to allow for the most interaction and the most open conversation that we can. But let's give everybody a chance to make their presentations and walk through our slide deck, and then we can address questions as we go along in the chat. But I would ask everyone to keep your phones and screens muted as we go along. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to our great chair, Chandra.
Thank you, Victoria. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Happy Tuesday. And thank you for joining us today. As chair of the FPC Advisory Committee, I am so excited to reintroduce a powerful tool that you can use in your role as a federal political coordinator to further strengthen your relationship with your member of Congress. It's in its
Ennis, I
Yeah.
think you might be muted.
Can y'all hear me? I'm sorry. Hold on
We
one
can hear
second.
you
Can y'all
now.
hear me?
Give it another shot, Ennis, one more time.
Thank you. My mic. Can y'all hear me? Hello?
Yes.
Okay, can you hear me now? Mic check.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Yes, I'm also proud to be with you guys because we know that the relationship that FEC have built with their members of Congress are the heart of advocacy success. That's why the property platform is so important and we need to start using it.
Chandra, I think you might be muted.
I'm so sorry. I got in that mode. So the platform gives FPCs a new way to harness the power of realtor political engagement by channeling the realtor voice through direct candidate contributions. Now, these dollars don't just build influence, they advance our advocacy agenda and give weight to the conversations that you're already having on Capitol Hill and in the district.
And this is how we show up strategically with impact. And as always, we guide the truth. You know, we can build our impact the day you need it. The platform ensures that we are prepared not just for the next election, but for every legislative
I think, Chandra, you might have to take over for Ennis.
Okay.
We might not
Okay.
be able to hear you right now, Ennis.
Okay.
Okay. So, thanks, Victoria. Thanks, Ennis. So just to walk us through how this is going to work and how it fits into your role as an FPC, we are thrilled to welcome three of our most trusted Realtor leaders. We have NAR's 2025 Vice President of Advocacy, Sarah Lipnitz, and our 2025 Realtor Party Fundraising Liaison, Natalie Davis, as well as the chair of the RPAC Federal Disbursement Trustees, Beth Dalton. They'll show you how this platform complements your work, amplifies your message, and helps us to continue building our relationships that deliver those great results we're getting. And with that, let's turn it over to Sarah, Natalie, and Beth. Ladies?
Thank you so much, FPCs and GADs, for joining us on this call today. We're here to talk with you about the Pro Property Platform, a new way for us to support Realtor Party champions and allies in Congress. Before we get into the program and the mechanics of the program, I want to begin by speaking with you a little bit more broadly today about our PAC. Not only our PAC, OUR PAC, but all of our political activities. Every single organization in American politics faces the exact same challenges that we do, a political environment that is defined by three broad themes. Our jobs as the leaders in the NAR advocacy arena is to develop and implement strategy that helps us overcome those trends. First, let's talk about the increased polarization in our political environment. This is nothing new. All of us can see this in our own communities, let alone the news. We know that it's polarized because 95% of incumbents won their reelection campaigns in 2024. Only 30 out of 435 seats were truly competitive, meaning they were won by margins of 4 points or less. This means that the balance of power in the House will only shift between the parties by a few seats. Next, we have high turnover in Congress. Nearly 70% of the members of Congress have served less than 4 terms. How many of you have experienced a member retire? Oof, not many. We've all seen it. As FPCs, you know all too well how important building relationships with the member of Congress is. You know what it means to go in. And for many of us, we know that what goes into this is money. The cost of the campaign of campaigns is an all-time high. It's up 200% from 20 years ago. Today, it costs over $9 million to run for House. Our PAC can only give up to $10,000 per election cycle. So you do the math, there's a big chasm there. So we have a political environment defined by high polarization, high turnover, and high cost campaigns. Yet we need to be ready every day. And I believe this was, Ennis, you might have said this right from the get-go. We can't,
Your doctor
yep,
about not doing anything till you see him again?
I'm sorry. Okay, sorry about that. I think somebody didn't have their mic off. You can't build RPAC when you need it. And why is it? Well, it's simple. The day that you need it, you have to have built it beforehand. You don't know you need it until you need it. So we need to start strong today and be ready for tomorrow's fight. How do we overcome these trends? Well, we do it by building a highly sophisticated fundraising ecosystem that acts as our political muscle. I love this graphic with the muscle there. Um, we have our political and issues advocacy, which are soft dollars that we raise for independent expenditures, opportunity races, and state and local issue mobilization efforts. We have our RPAC hard dollars, the literal PAC in RPAC, which is R, not OUR, but RPAC. And this is how we put our stamp or approval on candidates by giving them RPAC contributions. And then finally, we have our direct giver programs. The Pro Property Platform and the President's Circle. Direct giving isn't a new concept in Washington. It's been around for a while, and it's not even new to us. We're in the 21st year of the President's Circle program. We just celebrated the 20th anniversary in Orlando earlier this year. We launched the Pro Property Platform last year to expand upon the power of the realtor political activism. And now I'm going to hand it over to our Realtor Party fundraising liaison, Natalie Davis, to talk a little bit more about the platform. Thank you so much, Natalie.
Thank you, Sarah. And thank you to the FBCs and GADs for having me back. I had the opportunity to visit with some of you at RLM, but I am excited to share more information about the platform with you so that we can give you some insight on how this tool is helpful and beneficial to you. What we think about in terms of the platform is that it is going to really help us in sharpening our advocacy impact. We know that we're already strong, and now we just need to grow stronger, and the platform is going to help us in that. I like to think about RPAC and the platform as our shelter from the storm before it hits. So if you think about it, when something happens, whether it's at your local city council, if they're banning short-term rentals, or Congress is trying to eliminate 1031 exchange, we know that we can't start those fundraising efforts the day that we need it. So as Sarah mentioned, we can't wait until that day. So of course, we want to make sure that we are doing the work now and that we are using these days to work with our partners to lift up our industry. So for us, that means that we need to make sure that we have strong RPAC before we actually need those dollars to be in play. It means being prepared before the crisis hits, because our strength and our influence really relies on the relationships that we've built, that you all have built. And it means building on the success that we've already built for RPAC. And the platform is just another way for us to continue to show the realtor leadership where we're speaking clearly, acting early, and standing with those that stand with us. It's about building political strength well before we need it. So I also like to think about the platform and RPAC as working together. One of them protects our industry and the other projects our power. When you think about RPAC, it protects our industry. RPAC investments help us to get a seat at the table when we're thinking about it. It helps us with our influence and our prestige. The platform projects our power. That's how we're going to go on the offense. It's how we target support, and it's how we garner this collective strength that we have together. So when you couple those, the support of our advocacy efforts and the building of the strength, realtor strength, with our congressional leaders and our members of Congress and the voice that we have. So what is the Pro Property Platform? We want to make sure that we make it very clear that it is a voluntary, direct to candidate giving platform that is approved by the RPAC trustees after years of discussion, review, and study. It also enables realtors, affiliates, and the public to contribute to Realtor Party champions and to congressional leaders with the best ability to advance our advocacy agenda. Think about all of your strategic partners, friends, and families within your communities. It also amplifies our impact, tagging contributions as realtor made and sending a powerful message about the strength of our industry, and clearly communicating our advocacy priorities when we think about our initiatives on an annual and ongoing basis. So let's take a look at our strategy when we're talking about the Pro Property Platform. In the 2024 election cycle, realtors contributed about $45 million to candidates for federal offices. And I'm sure that some of you helped in that number. In terms of President Circle that Sarah just mentioned, we celebrated our 20th anniversary just this year. President Circle only made up for about $8 million out of that $45 million. So that's about $37 million in realtor dollars that's out there that we have not accounted for. So we want those members to give through the platform so that the members of Congress can see that those dollars are coming from realtors and everyday Americans who care about property rights and home ownership. It's an opportunity for us to send money with a message. Giving through that platform guarantees that our voice will be heard on Capitol Hill, one collective voice. We also want to identify candidates that are pro-realtor. The list of candidates who are chosen by the disbursement trustees give members the confidence to invest their dollars in candidates who share our same values and have also been vetted. Finally, we want to make sure that we share credit with the involved parties, like our FPCs. When realtors give through the platform, it improves our relationships with the members of Congress, and it also demonstrates how realtors are a powerful group of constituents that are engaged in every level. That translates to a better policy outcome for our industry. And guess who the members of Congress are going to thank for that? That's right, you are FPCs. I'm going to turn it over to Beth, who's going to give you a bit of background and insight in terms of our candidate selection. Beth, take it away.
All right, thank you, Natalie. This year I have the role of being the RPAC chair of the RPAC Disbursement Trustees. And the criteria we've adopted is straightforward, and candidates are selected similar to President's Circle. We look at things like their position in Congress. Are they in leadership? Do they sit on a chair, a key committee? Are they a member of the real estate caucus? Do they sponsor legislation? These are easy and objective ways for us to determine who has earned our support. And the key word is earn. We plan to evaluate members of Congress on a continuous basis, so if your member doesn't make the first cut, it's a great opportunity for you as an FPC to work with your NAR lobbyist and political representative to formulate a strategy to help strengthen our relationship with that member of Congress. Maybe they join the real estate caucus, maybe they co-sponsor more bills. Regardless of the strategy, it is critically important that each of us remember there can be no quid pro quo. There can be no promising of positions on the platform as the results of taking any actions. We simply cannot promise anything to anyone. The disbursement trustees will continue to evaluate additional candidates throughout the cycle. We'll be providing you FAQs and talking points ahead to launch on this subject. Two very important notes. If you're an FBC for a freshman House member, your member will go up in September. We want to give the new members some time to build a record and let us really see where they stand. Regarding senators, we plan to start with those senators who are up for re-election in the 2026 election cycle. Like with all incumbents, we'll continue to revisit other senators as the program progresses. It's also important to note the Senate cycle elections are 6 years, meaning the money you give today counts towards your individual giving limit through the next election cycle. This means contributing closer to the election will have a greater impact. Now, as an FPC like all of you, I'm excited for the role that we'll get to play in the rollout and supporting the growth of the platform. First, NAR would like us to be the ones who call our members of Congress to share the good news that they are going up on the platform. This is a great way for us to continue strengthening those bonds between us and our members. When the time comes, your NAR political representative will be in touch with a toolkit and a script. Next, reinforce the pro platform. Most of us are already giving to RPAC, and many of us giving to President's Circle too. But now we have the chance to directly give to members of Congress and convey our pro-realtor message while doing so. It's a great way to show the reason why you're giving is because your member of Congress supports our industry. Target it. Think about how many of us are already helping raising money for our members of Congress. You can ask all those same people to give using the Pro platform and amplify the impact of your political network. In the future, you'll be able to use the platform to hold a fundraiser for your member. Until then, NAR staff will be providing you and your own dedicated link to share among your friends and your colleagues. You can even post it on social media. Keep in mind that's a little bit different because speaking of social media, you should personalize it. Share your story on social media. Tell people why you support your member of Congress and ask them to give too. This is your money. Send it with a message. It's a great chance for you to incorporate your profession into your political giving. And Michael, I don't have a note, but do you want to just quickly put a reminder that differentiates our typical RPAC fundraising from the Pro Property platform?
Absolutely, and thank you. So the Pro Property platform is something that we can post on social media because it's open to everybody, whether they're a realtor or not. As a reminder, when it comes to posting on social media about RPAC, you cannot make a direct solicitation or provide a giving link because many people that you're friends with on social media may not be realtor members and are outside of the solicitable class. So there's an important differentiation there, and I appreciate you for flagging that, Beth.
Perfect. Thank you. And Sarah, back over to you.
Sorry, had to hit that unmute button there. Now, let's get to some common questions that we receive regarding the platform. Question number one, what if I already give to RPAC? That's a great question. And if you are already giving to RPAC, thank you so much. RPAC is the backbone of everything we do. When you give through the platform, you're giving on top of your RPAC investment, and you're giving your RPAC investment a louder voice by tagging your contribution as a pro realtor and sending a message about the strength of our industry. I like to think about it as like every little dollar that we send, we put just a little tiny R stamp in that corner so that they know that that comes with a realtor tag associated with it. Question number 2. I want to give my check to my member myself. You know what? I'm an FPC and I get that question. As FPCs, we know that there is nothing more important than building that close and personal relationship. So you could hand your member a check. Of course you can. But raising money online is how candidates prefer to raise money in today's day and era. So giving through the platform not only ensures the dollars you contribute are sent to campaigns quickly, they convey the exact same message when bundled with other realtor contributions. It amplifies the impact of your contribution on behalf of the industry as a whole. Your NAR political representative will work with you in the campaign to ensure that you get the credit you deserve for your contribution. So we are absolutely able to make sure that your check and your investment and giving that member money is stamped with your name on it and that little R that we talked about when I talked about question number 1. Question number 3. This doesn't count towards RPAC goals or commitments. That's true. But it does count towards your RPAC Hall of Fame. The reason is simple. Our program is new and we want to give it time to grow and develop. This is the best possible outcome is that we're so successful with this program that it requires us to evaluate counting dollars towards the goal. Let's hope to get it there, right? So as FPCs, you're on the forefront of this growing program. You're all politically savvy people and you know how this works. It's a great chance for you to lead by example. Michael and I spoke about this topic specifically going into today's meeting, and we talked about the fact that this program, you've got to crawl before you walk and you got to walk before you run. And I think we are in the process at this very moment of taking it from the crawling phase to the walking phase. And once we get running, I'm sure we're going to figure out a way that we can set goals and track those dollars. But right now, rest assured that those dollars and those investments are counting towards your RPAC Hall of Fame. Last question, why give to both candidates and RPAC? Well, the truth is that they work better together. You already understand the value of supporting your candidate directly. It's critical that RPAC be a part of your giving too. RPAC is how we ensure our seat at the table. The platform is how we get an additional seat. Finally, I guess we've got more questions. Sorry, I scrolled down. Finally, a common question we get, won't this cause people to give less to RPAC? Simply put, we don't think so. We believe that this will further complement RPAC because our core message is simple. It's not it's both. RPAC remains a core fundraising engine for an advocacy tool. The platform simply gives donors an additional way to engage politically and reinforce our message. It engages new givers. The platform helps us capture giving in our databases and begin building a pipeline for new investors. Finally, it complements RPAC and even helps it grow by getting more people to the RPAC Hall of Fame. As FPCs, you're often asked to give your own money in addition to giving RPAC. And because RPAC dollars don't go as far as they once did, remember, we're only getting $10,000 per cycle compared to the $9 million that we discussed that it talks to run for the House seat. We need to grow our impact and back up our friends in Congress. And this platform is exactly how we're going to do it. Simply put, you can't build RPAC the day you need it. The platform is going to ensure that we're strong today for tomorrow's fight. Whether in Congress or at the ballot box, this grows your impact and strengthens our ties to the members of Congress. Now we'll take questions.
Michael and Victoria, looks like there is one question in the chat from Shauna.
Hey, Shauna, thank you so much for that question. This does not count towards President's Circle goals. You still need to complete your President's Circle investments through the President's Circle website in order to not only meet your President's Circle commitment, but also to be able to qualify to register for the conference. Through the rest of the questions here. I see, let's see, sorry, there's a lot
You
of
read
questions.
it out loud, Michael, so they know.
So Ali asks from Arizona whether states or locals will see any of these investments and do they all go towards federal candidates? And right now the answer is they all go towards federal candidates, although there are many states that already operate their own direct giving programs, Wisconsin being a great example of one, Washington State be another. If you think your state association is interested in partnering with us to run a state program, let us know, reach out to us. We want to have that conversation. There's a lot of states that are already interested in talking to us about it. So we welcome that opportunity to talk more about it on an association level. Leslie asks when the platform is going to be available. Great question. The most important question of them all, maybe. So our plan right now is to hopefully go live towards the end of July. That date might slip a little bit. We want to get it right. You can obviously see just based on the content we put together and the level of effort and energy that our speakers put into preparing for today that we want to get this message totally right. This is an important conversation for us to have not only with FPCs but also with every member. And so we want to make sure that when we do launch that the message is spot on and that you have all the materials that you need to be prepared for that day. Rick asks whether he could give his full 2,000 amount to his congressman rather than be limited to 500. So as it relates to President's Circle, you obviously still you're going to be limited to $500 through the President's Circle program. Those are the program guidelines. But you can go above and beyond outside after you complete your President's Circle investments up to the legal giving limit. And I saw Helen unmute as well. So if you want to jump in at all.
No, Michael, you're spot on. I just wanted to just clarify, this is a completely separate, different program than President's Circle. So nothing, they're completely two different things. President's Circle operates one way where we put Realtor Champions up there. This is a completely separate program up and over and in addition to anything President's Circle related. So just want to make sure everyone understands that. Whole new deal.
Whole new deal. And in 2026, the federal giving limit is $3,500 per election, $7,000 per election cycle. So after you do your $500 through round one of President's Circle, you can give the remaining limit in that $7,000 limit to your member of Congress. But if you're a President's Circle investor, you still need to complete your President's Circle investments, that $2,000 commitment. Tina in New Jersey, one of our federal RPAC trustees, is asking whether there will be any other congressman posted. So when we go live towards the end of this month or early August, we're planning to go live with over 350 candidates. That includes many, many, many incumbent House members and senators who are in cycle. We are holding off on freshmen until the fall. Obviously, they all just took a very big vote last week. So we want to obviously take a look at how everybody did and continue to evaluate them. And Beth's committee will absolutely do that. And then for the handful of members, and we're very lucky to be in a position where the vast majority of members of Congress are, pro-realtor and earning a place on the platform from the get-go. For those remaining, 50 or so members that are not going to make the first cut, the disbursement trustees are going to continue to evaluate them. And like Beth said during her presentation, if your member is one of those people, work with your lobbyist, work with your NAR political director or political representative to formulate a strategy that can help craft a pathway onto the platform. But the key message here is that they have to earn a place, and so they have to show the trustees in particular that they mean it when they want to have a closer relationship. Obviously, we can be very good friends, and that's a really important message point as well. Brad Ward asks whether the President's Circle and pro-property legislatures will be the same. And there's going to be a lot of overlap. There might be a couple that are out of cycle this year on President's Circle. Katie Britt is one of them I can think of, who may not go up right away. But after that, all of the House members and any of the senators in cycle, there's going to be overlap there. So we'll have a great chance to support many of our President's Circle candidates through the platform as well, if not all of them. Does an MOC, so Kay asks whether a member of Congress needs to be listed for them to invest via this message. And the answer is yeah. The platform is going to look almost identical visually to the President's Circle website. It's the same software, the same vendor, the same technology. The list is going to be pretty long. You'll be able to sort by state, you'll be able to find alphabetically your members, search by their name, filter by party. We have a lot of different ways you can find different members to invest in. the field is going to be broader. There's over 350 going up right now. But in order for your money to carry that really important pro realtor message with it, you need to invest through the platform. Of course, you can go to campaign websites. You can go to Act Blue or Win Red. But the truth is when you go there, it loses the really important meaning behind the message, or behind the money, I should say. You know, members of Congress are always going to be grateful that you gave to them, no matter what the mechanism is for giving, but they're not always going to understand why you did it. And so when you give through us and when you give through the Pro Property platform, you're basically sending your money with a message, and you're sending your intention along with that money. They know that you're giving as a realtor. And when a bunch of other realtors give to that same member of Congress, that's real power. The bundling those dollars together, amplifying the impact, that's going to really change the game in a lot of ways for how we work with members of Congress. Let's see. How does this work with campaign limits? So every 2 years, the FEC ups the limit. They tag it and it's tied to inflation. And so so these contributions, the same way that your President's Circle contributions, are all subject to federal election limits. Like I said a little while ago, this year in the 2025-2026 election cycle, the limit is set $3,500 per election, $7,000 per cycle. So if you made $500 investment to your member of Congress through the President's Circle, you still have $6,500 in limit that you can still give to. Now, it's important to remember, and I won't go too deep on this, but I could certainly nerd out on campaign finance limits all day long. But if you've given to your member of Congress through another website, or if you've given them a check directly, all of those dollars also count towards your federal giving limit. So you need to have a good accounting of what you've done in order to make sure you don't cross your limit. The good news is campaigns also need to make sure you didn't go over the limit. So if you do go over your limit, more often than not, and almost in every case, they're going to return your money to you. So it's not a huge deal, but we certainly would like to prevent it if we can. And certainly want to keep it under the limit, or at least at the limit if possible. But the laws apply in every single way to every dollar. They count against your limit in the aggregate, no matter how you give or who you give through. So who is responsible? This is a great question from Mug. Who's responsible for tracking investments to make sure that we don't violate PAC rules? So the good news is that none of these dollars count towards your PAC giving limit. You can give your normal RPAC investments at the same level that you have been or more. Always appreciate people, members who increase, but you can continue to give and not worry about giving over your individual giving limit to a federal PAC. You'd have to give $5,000 directly to federal RPAC in order to reach your giving limit for the year. But because we split our money up amongst all three levels, you're not going to really reach that limit unless you're at the Platinum R level. These limits don't necessarily, for candidates, don't necessarily run up against the PAC giving limit. They are their own limit. And so in terms of responsibility for tracking investments, you're always the first and best person to know what dollars you've spent. But the great news about the Pro Property platform and the President's Circle is that once you set your account up and you give exclusively through those websites, you will be able to track all of your own investments in the software simply by clicking on My Account. It'll be a running ledger of every contribution that you have given through that software. Now, right now, money given through the President's Circle website is not going to show up on the Pro Property platform website. They're just two different versions of the same software. But we hope to down the road be able to integrate those things and let you see the sources and how you've given. That's definitely on our to-do list. But for now, you'll be able to track all of your contributions through the Pro Property platform directly in the Pro Property platform. And we're also going to give that information to your state association. It's going to go into Aristotle. It's going to be part of your donor record. That's how we're going to know that you've hit the next level for the Hall of Fame. And so your state GADs and AEs or your local GADs are all going to have a sense of how much money you're contributing through the Pro Property platform. Holly asks, when will we know who's going to be on the platform? Our intention is to let you know at least a week ahead of time who's going up and when. Especially as FPCs, we want you to be part of the conversation. We want you to be part of the rollout strategy. So our intention is to give you the toolkit that Beth described earlier, along with your candidate about a week out. Hopefully we're going to get close to that. So we want to make sure that you have plenty of time. Helen, I saw you on mute as well.
No. No, you're again, Michael is the king of this. He's 100% right. Our Our goal is to do this by the, Michael's going to shoot me for saying this, but by the end of this month, our goal is to get this live in the next few weeks by July 31st. Please don't hold us too much to that. We've got moving parts. We got to make sure the website looks right, but we're kind of hoping that this will come out sooner rather than later, but you will be the first to know before it goes live.
Exactly, exactly. So Vilma mentioned in here that she's been looking forward to the platform and has been contributing to the member of Congress and events that they're hosting, which is great. And that is absolutely a use for this software down the road. We're not quite ready to let the software be used to hold individual fundraising events. We need to figure out the legal structure in which those can occur, and we need to make sure that we put some guardrails around it, just because we obviously have a compliance burden that we all have to be worried about. But once we figure that out and we feel comfortable moving forward, we absolutely encourage you to use this, and we want to work with you to do it. This is a great opportunity, especially if you're someone who already raises money for your member of Congress, which I know a lot of you do, to do it in a pro realtor way, to capture the dollars through the system and to actually label the money. And on the technical side, and I used to do this for a different organization that has a very similar program, we will give all that information directly to the campaign in the same way that you're used to. They'll get all the list of donors, they'll know who's coming to your event, and they'll understand who's raised the money. So you'll get that credit that we described a little earlier. That's coming down the road a little bit. We definitely will get there. It's an exciting use case for the software. But before that, we want to make sure that the software is rolled out and the program is rolled out successfully, and that all the bugs are worked out before we go on to something even more advanced. Let's see, just scrolling through the questions here. Okay, so Steve Redmond from Tucson asks, are new candidates for an open office eligible? And that's a great question. That is going to go directly back to the disbursement trustees and the decision-making process that they undertake in terms of RPAC funding. And so if there's alignment between our state associations and the disbursement trustees, there's a high likelihood that someone who's fully funded for their election will end up on there. But more to come on that. We absolutely intend to put open seat candidates up. We just haven't gotten that far yet because, I guess for better or for worse, there aren't that many, which is good. So we haven't had to actually answer or deal with that yet. But it will be something that we deal with much closer to the election, especially after the primaries are over, when we actually have to, make a decision about people. If your candidate is not up there until October because he's a freshman but you donated to him prior, does that count? It doesn't necessarily count, but there's no harm in doing it. Obviously, like, you wanted to get out there earlier and make sure that your member of Congress knew you supported them from the get-go. We're coming to you halfway through the first year of the election cycle. It's going to happen. In the future, we would love for you to use this platform to contribute through. And if you have additional contributions you plan to make through the rest of the year or the rest of the election cycle, we definitely would love you to use it. The missed opportunity is obviously having it count towards your lifetime giving history and obviously sending that realtor message along with the money. But I know, many of you, and I know that you're always talking about realtor issues with your members of Congress. So I'm not worried that didn't occur already. So I think they know why you raised the money, which is good. And we'll be hopefully rolling this out so that you can continue to give, like Helen said, towards the end of this month. Will the pro property platform only support incumbents in Congress? That is absolutely the starting place. Like I said just a moment ago, we certainly plan to expand to candidates for open seats, but we are an incumbent-friendly organization. That's the main crux of our political strategy, and so we want to have the backs of the people who have demonstrated that they have our backs already. Obviously, members of Congress will retire, they'll change. We'll have new people to work with, but we're always going to focus on the people who have a established record and established relationship first, and we'll continue to work, to evaluate open seat candidates as the election cycle progresses, and obviously doing that in coordination with with all of you and with our poll reps and state RPAC trustees as well, in addition to the disbursement trustees. Let's see, just scrolling through here.
I think someone had asked earlier, Michael, we might have skipped how often do they make the list? Like, once they're on, are they on forever, or is it every session you guys are reevaluating, or once a year? What's the timing on selection?
Great question, Victoria. So every new election cycle is it's a new opportunity. And so while many of the candidates will likely remain the same because they have established voting records and established relationships that are friendly, there's always going to be a little bit of shifting there. And frankly, all of you are on the front lines, and so you're the ones who interact with your members of Congress most often. You're the ones who have the best sense of the relationship, and we obviously take note of that when it comes to funding decisions. I know the poll reps, work with all of you in the states on all of that, and that'll continue to be how we make decisions. Obviously, funding is a great reason why, or a great starting place in a previous election for what we would do in the next election. But yeah, I think Beth said this during her presentation. There's no rhyme or there's a lot of different data points that we can be looking at, but it's really the collection of everything, all of the above, that's going to make the determination. But again, our starting place this election cycle was with 355 House members. That's roughly three-quarters of the House. We're gonna most likely see many of those people continue to land on the platform year over year. And then, yeah, Tina, there will be a QR code. We'll be including the QR code with all of the toolkit information that we're going to be giving to you. And it's, I guess, a good opportunity to tell you what's going to be in that toolkit. Certainly a script so that you know what to say to your member of Congress when you get to deliver the good news. We're also going to be including not only the QR code, but links that you can share, social media language, like we mentioned earlier, phone scripts as you want to if you talk to members of your immediate community and your colleagues, as well as text scripts and email scripts. And then Allie from Arizona is asking if we can go over the disbursement process and who will decide which members of Congress receive these dollars. Well, the people who decide which members of Congress receive these dollars are all of you as individual donors. The list itself is curated and evaluated by the disbursement trustees. They are the decision maker on who goes up there. But the decision about how dollars are contributed and who gives is really up to all of you as individuals. That's the beauty of this. You get to decide. The power is in your hands. So if you see a member of Congress you really like, you can go and give to them, and they'll receive all of the money that you give them, except for the credit card processing fee, but that's pretty much the industry standard. But they're going to receive pretty much all the money you give them, and that'll be true for everybody else who gives to them as well. So the decision maker on who gets money is all of you, and it's all of our members who participate in this program. The list itself is what's curated over time. So Rick mentioned that he's a golden R, and if he chose to give through the platform to his congressman, that he would no longer be a golden R, even though his investment's the same. And that is true. He would not be a golden R. And the reason for that is because your golden R commitment is a commitment to giving to the Realtors Political Action Committee, which is a standalone entity that we raise money into, and all of you have been donors for a very long time. And so that's where you get your recognition. Obviously, as a President's Circle investor, you get a little bit of additional recognition in the form of that little PC banner on your pin and invitations to the conference and things like that. Money given through this is different. It doesn't go to RPAC. We are not the decision maker on who receives the funds. Members themselves are decision makers on who actually ultimately gets the money that they want to contribute. And while we likely over time will need to think about how to integrate this into our current benefits and recognition structure, I think Sarah said this pretty well earlier. We want to crawl before we walk. And so, I think to Rick's point, there will become a point in time based on the necessity, based on the fact that this program has become successful and many of you are utilizing it, that we need to think about how we count these dollars for recognition purposes. Right now, we're not there. And we want to make sure that this is fully successful before we add another requirement or another piece of, another item that staff have to work to try to, or another goal they have to meet, I should say. So that's really our thought process here. But I think it's a good question because inevitably we are going to have to probably reach a point where that's what happens, but we're not there today. So we are going to ask that you continue to make your RPAC contributions first. That is the most important thing. It's like many people on this call have said, it is the backbone of every single thing that we do, and it's how we support our advocacy efforts directly. This is an extra tool. And this is how we go above and beyond what we're currently doing to deliver additional impact for our advocacy priorities and to back up our members of Congress.
Michael, can I dovetail on what you're saying for a
Please.
moment? I participated many years ago in a PAG that kind of birthed this program, and I've done a lot of thinking about this program over the past couple of years. I think the best way for us as practitioners to kind of holistically view this is we, as a trade association, we knew that our members were giving money that weren't getting earmarked with that little realtor R. And we needed to come up with a way that we could continue to show our flex our muscle and show our strength within the beltway. So this tool was birthed out of the idea of we had all of these members that were participating in the PC program, our President Circle program, and our RPEC program. And that is successful, and we didn't want to do any harm. But how were we going to try to capture all of those dollars that we were giving through other conduit programs that were never being counted anyway towards your RPAC giving, and put that little tiny R on there so that we can continue to leverage it. And that is really what birthed this program. Was it was the first step in trying to corral and understand and let the Beltway and the people in the Beltway understand that we're not just that 1.5 million members who invest in the RPAC, participate in the calls to action, and do all of the things that we already do, but we are also doing this. And I like to think of it as just kind of, like I said, like that nice companion piece where we just take a little rubber stamp and stamp each one of those dollars. I think that it's been said, and it bears being said again, is that we are in the infancy of this program. We're going to see how well it's working. We're taking it from the crawl phase to the walk phase right now. I think the sky is the limit on where it could go and what we could do with it. But we got to start here. And if this is a wonderful companion piece for us, and I think as FPCs, it gives us all another reason to contact our members and talk to them about how to, what we're doing and the why behind it. So this is just, it's going to benefit us all around on many, many, many fronts. Like, I'm going to give it back to you.
Well, thank you. And I completely agree. And I appreciate you adding that in there because it's really important to underscore that. So Peggy asked a question, which, we've been referring to this a lot as capturing money online. One thing that Natalie said earlier when she was giving her presentation is that we did the research and we were able to find $45 million contributed last election cycle. And what Sarah just said is pretty much exactly that point. Those are dollars that are going to other places. They're going through the campaign website. They're going directly via check. Imagine if people came to our website, and they gave through it instead. We all collectively get the credit, not only you as the donor, but your national, state, and local association. Because the good news is members of Congress don't typically make the distinction between which organization is the one helping raise the money. They know that all of you are realtors and you represent a united realtor organization across all three levels and all 54 states and territorial associations. And that's what matters, is the power that goes behind that. And so how we capture those donations online is simply by asking our members and their colleagues and friends and clients to come to our website instead. I'll give you a very quick example. I was doing some spot checking on that list of $45 million, and I found a donor from a state who, is already a very strong fundraising state for RPAC. That donor had given $15,000 to federal organizations, candidates, and PACs last election cycle. Do you know how much money they gave to RPAC? $0. $0. And that doesn't mean that anybody has failed to talk to this person, right? It just means that we haven't gotten to them yet, or there was something in the past that made them want to walk away from RPAC for one reason or another. We have a chance to go back to them now and ask them to take a political action as a realtor. We have an opportunity now to get credit for the $10,000 or $15,000 they gave. And we also have an opportunity to ask them to take the next step and become an RPAC investor. So it works in both directions. Scott Barfield asked whether a contribution he previously made to go to a local fundraiser for his member of Congress could have gone through this platform instead. And the answer is yes. And we will work with you. If you want to go to a fundraiser and you want to give to attend that, we will work with you. Your poll rep and the lobbyist will work with the member of Congress's campaign team to make sure that those dollars we raised are credited towards that event. Is it going to work in every single case? We hope so. We think so because this happens all the time. I don't want to promise universal adoption by every member of Congress's campaign, but I can tell you in my experience, especially in my last role for another large PAC, that we did this all the time for our donors. Whether they wanted to go to an NRCC dinner that they were giving money to, they wanted to go, on to a nice dinner in the district. We were happy to make those connections, and we'll continue to be happy to make those connections for you. So yes, to answer your question, you can absolutely do that, but make sure you coordinate with us before doing so, because otherwise it's going to be harder to play catch up after. But we absolutely want to help you with that. Peyton from Georgia asks, if a non-realtor gives to the platform, how do they get realtor branded? Well, it's really on the back end because we're the collecting agent. We're the ones who pay for the software, and we're the ones who transmit the money. And so when we send our money to campaigns, they know that it's coming from our organizations generally. They don't always necessarily know that the individual donor is a realtor or not, but they know that the member or the donor is giving because they support realtors, they support home ownership, they support property rights, all of things that are very, critically important to our messaging and to the things that we advocate for every day. So it actually just enhances our message more because it adds everyday Americans into the conversation. It's no longer just an issue that only realtors care about, right? Now it's an issue that not only realtors care about, but everyday Americans care about. And that's the important point of why we want others to give. And the good news is we have a huge email list of consumers, people who are not realtor members, that we're going to start utilizing to raise additional dollars through this platform. So we see this opportunity as being huge. And it looks like, I'm just going to keep reading through here. So Vilma asked whether previous donations to reps to their representatives will be captured through this platform, and the answer is no. Unfortunately, this is only forward-looking, not past-looking, and that's okay. We obviously would love to have counted those dollars, a long time ago if we had this program in place, but we're going to be looking, forward and not backwards, which means that we have a great opportunity to enhance what we're doing, in the coming months and years, and to think about all the different ways that we can raise new money for our members of Congress and count those dollars instead. So I do understand frustration that might be out there, that we're not going to count previous dollars, but the truth is that it's administratively very, very challenging to try to wrangle it and get accuracy there. But it's also just, the way the software works and the way that we're able to import data, it's future looking. So I don't see any additional questions. If anybody has any, we'd love to keep answering them. These are fantastic questions, and really appreciate all of your time as well, and attention to this. Oh, great. We have another one. Good. Yes. So Emily Hicks asked whether there'll be guidance for state association staff to refer to. So we are going to be rolling this out not only to all of you as FPCs, but to state and local associations, as well as our RPAC committees and councils. So the trustees, the Major Investor and Participation Council. We're also going to be rolling it out to state and local staff. To internal here at NAR, and then we'll have additional talking points also there's one other audience. I was just working on it earlier, but it's escaping me what it is now. But we're going to have talking points for everybody. One thing I definitely want to just highlight, because I know there are some state staff on the call, we're not asking state staff to carry any water for this program. We are going to provide information so that you have a resource and information that you can answer questions from members with. But this is an NAR program right now, and we're going to run point on it, which is why we're meeting obviously with our federal political coordinators, and we'll continue to meet with all of our national RPAC committees and councils as well. But we want you to be in the loop if you're a state association staffer. We want you to be part of this. We want you to be excited about it and join us in this really important effort. And we hope to be able to work with all of you to build programs on the state and on the state level as well. So please get in touch with us about that if you're interested. And okay, and so Terry's asking, how will my member of Congress know that I'm contributing to his campaign? When we like every other contribution members of Congress receive, we have to give them all of your information. Not all of it, but we have to give them your name, address, occupation, and employer. That's required reporting information for the FEC. And we're going to make sure that they know every time that you've given, because we're going to send them that information automatically. If you remember, if you're an FPC who has traditionally been someone who's handed that check to a member of Congress, or you've done it in more of like a direct way where you've really sat across the table from them, we still want you to give through this, but we will make sure that that is conveyed directly to the member of Congress or their staff so that they know that their federal political coordinator had given to them. Obviously, please always flag it for us so that we know it's in there. We hope to have a really good problem, which is a lot of transactions in the system. So if we have a lot of transactions in the system, just please make sure you let us know when you did it. But in most cases, we're going to be working with you already to coordinate it and make sure that it's the right time and that it makes the most sense when you do it. So, oh, go ahead, Callan. Yeah, please.
And I think it's, when you go into the system and you see, you know, Congressman X and I want to give him money, that money that you're giving, that $1,000, whatever it might be, does not come to NAR, does not come to RPAC at all. That money, there's a system and a program we're using, I think it's Democracy Engine. There's a company that we use and they take that money, they send it directly to the candidate and say, hey, the Realtors Pro Prop, Case Spiva through the Realtor Pro Property platform has donated $1,000 to you. So we don't touch it. It doesn't go get commingled in any way. We're just using a system that passes it along that way. But then they get to know that it was through a realtor system that the money was then given to them. So hope that's a little clearer. And it's kind of the way President Circle works as well. The money doesn't come to NER. We use a system that it goes straight to that member of Congress directly. We just say, hey, because this person was a realtor, they're giving to you directly, if that's helpful. And then one other thing on questions, I know we're almost out of time, but let's keep them coming, is as you have questions, please coordinate and talk to your political rep. Obviously, you could talk to Michael, and Victoria is the queen of all things when it comes to this, and we'll take all questions at all times. But please, your political reps are there. They know the fundraisers, they know your congressional members, so they can help ease these processes and answer whatever you might have as well. That might be just a quicker, faster way for you to get some answers sometimes.
And then Tina wanted to know whether we can get copy of the slide deck. So we're preparing to send you basically a very similar version of this that you can use with your own communities. But in particular, Tina, as a trustee, I'm absolutely going to send you the trustee version of this for sure. So you don't have to worry about that. I gotcha. And just to piggyback on what Helen was saying, we do not hold the money. It gets held in a separate segregated fund, an SSF, and it's held by our vendor, Democracy Engine, in their accounts. So we don't actually ever touch it. We are simply the fundraising entity according to the FEC, which is a nice place to be because it means all we have to do is pass information to campaigns and they get to file the reports correctly. But again, we are here to support you, to answer your questions, to do our best to make you feel comfortable with this. It's definitely a change, and I can only speak to my own experience launching a very similar program in my past. There were growing pains, absolutely, and we're going to learn a lot from the questions you ask, and we hope to be as responsive as possible and incorporate all of those questions and concerns into not only our talking points and conversations, but into the way we approach this program from the beginning. That's something we're very, very interested in doing. And, we're really excited to work with all of you to get this off the ground. Obviously, there's no pressure. We came here today to just fill you in on our plans. We'd love for you to be part of it and to play a role in this. And, look forward to working with you.
Good deal. Thank you. Thank you. This was really good, engaging. And if there are any questions that you may think of after this, please feel free to reach out to Victoria and Michael. Do they have your contact information if there's a question that they have for you too?
I'll put it in the chat, and they should definitely also feel free to reach out to their poll reps as well.
Okay. Thank you.
And just one plug for our webinar coming up on July 16th. So hope everyone's going to be able to join Chandra and Ennis and I for that. Next week at 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central for FPCs.
Okay. Victoria, you have any parting words?
I thought this was great. We'll get the slide deck around to everybody in a recording of the webinar. Someone had a great idea. Maybe we'll put together a little FAQ on the questions that came up. So
Yeah.
we can get that out to everyone and have everybody understanding this as we launch. Perfectly. Thanks so much for your role in all this, guys. And thank you, Michael, Helen, Sarah, everybody, Natalie. Appreciate y'all.
Thank you. Everyone have a
Thanks,
great
everyone.
rest of your day.